Donald Trump has responded to Democrats dominating the election, and he is crying and making excuses. Now, if you missed it, Democrats had a clean sweep of the election. They won the New Jersey governor, the Virginia governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, New York City mayor, flipped seats in Georgia and Pennsylvania. Wherever there were elections, Democrats dominated. Well, Donald Trump has responded, and he's not too happy, saying, quote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost the election night, unquote. He is making two excuses there. One saying, if I was on the ballot, then we would have won. But more importantly, he is accepting Republican blame for the shutdown. He has finally realized that, yes, the shutdown is our fault. We are the ones that are holding back America. And it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. But more importantly, tonight's election was an absolute dominance. But imagine how good it's going to feel if we can repeat this next November.
Donald Trump just responded for the first time to Republicans losing across the country tonight, and what he said is exactly what you'd expect. Just moments ago on social media, Donald Trump said, quote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. I find it so funny how he said, according to pollsters. These pollsters don't exist. He just made them up for the purpose of this post. But of course, Donald Trump is automatically diverting blame. The Republicans lost tonight across the country because people hate Donald Trump. They hate his policies. They hate what he's doing to this country. They hate his insanity. Just be clear about something. Prices continue to go up. Donald Trump is doing these insane immigration raids all across the country, and the government has been shut down because of Republicans. Nobody is in support of that. Not Democrats, not Republicans, not independents. Trump will never accept the fact that people just don't like him, so you'll continue to see stuff like this. He will blame anybody except himself and his own actions. That's just the Trump way.
MAGA is having a total meltdown right now. They are in disbelief after losing big in Virginia and New Jersey. Of course, the moment Republicans start losing, suddenly the elections are automatically rigged. This was earlier today. MAGA Voice said Democrats are stealing the elections in New Jersey and Pennsylvania right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. Get loud, MAGA. And this person says, on the way to Chester County, Pennsylvania, lawyers on the ground, affidavits coming, reinforcements coming. We will not let them steal this election. MAGA Voice also said the voting machines all across New Jersey and Pennsylvania are down. Polling locations are running out of provisional ballots. Voters are now being turned away. They are stealing the election. This person also said voting machines are down across Pennsylvania and New Jersey in red leading districts. Here's a look at all of the counties that were down today because of threats that were being made this morning. As you can tell, 5 out of 7 of them are Democrat. Of course, they're just like Donald Trump, crying that everything's rigged if they lose. Abigail Spanberger won today in Virginia in a major upset. And Mikey Sherrill just won in New Jersey, another major win for the Democrats, of course, defeating a Trump-backed candidate. Right now, Polymarket is showing a 97% chance of a complete Democratic sweep. Republicans are not being silenced. They are being defeated very badly by ballots and not conspiracies. The voters have made it very clear they are tired of the constant lies, division, hate, and attacks on basic freedoms. The only thing being stolen right now is MAGA's illusion of a permanent grip on power, and the American people are the ones taking it back.
The votes are in, elections have been counted, and the results are a massive blue wave as Democrats swept elections across the board tonight. This is a massive reboot of the Trump administration, of the Republicans' agenda, and people are fed up. Many of the people in the exit polling said this was a protest vote against Trump. They voted against Trump, plain and simple. And the icing on the cake was that J.D. Vance's half-brother lost the mayoral race in Cincinnati and was beaten by the incumbent Democrat there. So guys, this was just an epic night, and it's very positive looking forward. Trump's first reaction to the results tonight was on Truth Social, where he said that the Republicans lost because he wasn't on the ballot and the government shut down. Well, Trump, the government shutdown is on you and the Republicans. So yeah, that is why you lost. Then he went on to say he had the highest rating 60 Minutes interview ever. Someone should tell him that high ratings doesn't necessarily mean positive reviews. And after that, as reality set in for him, realizing that the midterms are going to be something similar to tonight, Trump urged his Republican friends to end the filibuster so they can pass their agenda now while they still have time. Because he's a whiny baby, he wants to pass voter reform because, he can't handle losing. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Comment, like, share, spread the word, let everyone know. Follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
And the Midas Touch Network HQ. You go take a look at the lead that Abigail Spanberger had over Winsome Earl Sears, the MAGA Republican extremist. If this holds, it would be the biggest victory in a gubernatorial election in over 40 years. It wasn't even close, folks. You go to the lieutenant governor's race. Ghazala Hashmi, who is on the Midas Touch Network, a state senator running for lieutenant governor. She's going to go on to beat John Reed 53% to 46% right now with about 85% of the votes in. Then in the attorney general's race, Jay Jones, who many thought may underperform the top of the ticket, given some things that happened towards the end of that campaign. He went on to beat Jason Miyares, the incumbent, another flip there, blue AG in Virginia. And this is incredibly important with the Democrats' efforts to stop Donald Trump from rigging the midterms. Folks, what we're seeing in Virginia, and as I'll report across the country, a massive repudiation against Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans. People hate Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans is what we're seeing. As my friend David Weigel writes, Spanberger's margin, if it holds, is the biggest Democratic win in Virginia governor race in 40 years. Back when Loudoun County was a rural GOP stronghold and Appalachia was deep blue.
It feels really good to be this happy on election night, and it feels even better to know that Donald Trump and the MAGA media are furious, which is what we are seeing right now as Fox hosts left and right, but especially Jesse Waters, are literally puddles of themselves, melting down, imploding, collapsing on air as they see win after win after win for Democrats. We are going to get into this hilarious breakdown, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you, leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, like I said before, we get into the meltdown from Jesse Waters and everyone at Fox, especially one meltdown that was just so funny. I want to start with a big Democratic win that we just saw, Abigail Spanberger delivering her victory speech out in Virginia, infuriating Fox. You'll see why in just a second, but let's take a listen to Abigail Spanberger. This is an absolutely devastating loss for Donald Trump as this seat, as the governor's mansion, flips from red to blue. And really, this race kind of colors a lot of what the rest of the country will look like, or at least shows the impact that Donald Trump's first couple of disastrous months in office have had. You're talking about DOGE cuts, you're talking about the shutdown, you're talking about explosion in the cost of utilities, electricity, energy, groceries, everything. That is what we're seeing in Virginia, and the response has been overwhelmingly telling Donald Trump to go fuck himself. That is what we saw tonight, but it is not just in Virginia. There were some in the Democratic Party who were a little worried about how these races might go tonight, that they might be a little tight, but that is not the case, and it is why we were so quickly able to see that Mikey Sherrill just won her race as well in New Jersey. That race has been called by every single outlet except one, and that is the Fox propaganda outlet, who had to explain why they were refusing to call it at first. It was hilarious. Then we're going to get to Jesse. Like this triangulation and like we're gonna, and a mishmash of, well, this county and that, but in the votes here, you lost. You lost. Call it. Admit you lost. It is embarrassing to watch Fox be like, well, we don't know yet. Maybe if we find some votes here and some votes there, don't stop the count. It's like the Trump tweet, stop the count. Well, don't stop the count. It is hilarious. But what is even funnier is how MAGA is already moving the goalposts and trying to say that none of this matters. Just listen to Jesse Waters' meltdown. Oh, so this isn't a referendum on Trump? The first major elections we're seeing since Donald Trump started his disastrous second term, that's not a referendum on Trump? That sounds exactly like a referendum on Trump, especially as these candidates have been talking about the issues he is consistently polling worse on, his immigration, not raids, but his Gestapo police, essentially. These are...
Thanks for clicking to watch today's video. And so the Republicans just, had another embarrassing defeat because they lost, and the Democrats really, the Democrats really won in huge numbers during the recent elections. And what did Donald Trump have to say? His response was that they didn't win because of the government shutdown and because he wasn't on the ballot. Can you imagine? And this has really sparked a lot of reactions, and that's why I have compiled this video for you. We do not own the rights of this video. They belong to the original owners of the video. So let's dive in and listen what people have to say about this.
So I guess we don't have a country. How about that? We thought we had a country. It was called United States, and now we have radical Sharia law, Cocker Spanberger, and a woman named Mikey. This is what our country is. This is what our country has done. First, of course, in Virginia, we had barely a candidate. We had a woman who was black, so that was 2 reasons I didn't endorse her. And her name was Winsome Earl something Winsome. How about that for a name, Winsome? How about lose all? Maybe that should be your name. Lose all, because you lost it all. You lost our beautiful state of Virginia. They took away our Confederate statues. Then they forced us to have a black lady candidate. I would have rather had a black lady sketch show running instead of this person. And she lost horribly. And that's why I didn't endorse her also, on top of, the other stuff. But, so Abigail Spanberger won. Very boring, she was in the CIA, which is the deep state, so obviously I don't like her. And so Virginia's done. Virginia's done. How about that? We lost it. We lost it in the Civil War, and now we've lost it again. And then we go to New Jersey, where I have properties, beautiful properties, golf properties. And I thought this Jack Ciattarelli guy was going to do, I thought he was better than this, but he lost to helicopter flight attendant Mikey Sherrill. Okay, so now the state of New Jersey, it started with radical left Bruce Springsteen, and it will end with helicopter pilot and all-around nasty Democrat Mikey Sherrill. So Jack Ciattarelli, you disappointed me. You've lost 3 times in a row. Please don't make it a 4th. Thank you. And then we get to my city where I was born, a once great city, New York City, where we will now have a Muslim socialist, radical left, terror cell, DJ or rapper. I think it was a rapper in college. As I've said before, I was accused of rap 19 times, but I, a lot better than him. But Zoolander Malwani is now the mayor of New York City, and this is a great insult to what the hell is New York doing? All of a sudden, New York is like, we're a melting pot, we're diverse. Not in my gated community. So we're done New York, we're done Virginia, we're done New Jersey, and we're done America. Bye-bye.
Election day is here, folks, and it's judgment day for Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans, and they are not handling it well. Donald Trump is having a complete meltdown in public right now. Post after post, he's saying, Virginia, New Jersey, you will rue the day if you vote for these Democratic candidates for governor. And then he says, I am hereby supporting Andrew Cuomo. You have no choice but to support Cuomo. Do not support Mondani. Donald Trump wants to interfere with the Manhattan mayoral election, and he says, I'm not going to fund Manhattan if you vote for Mondani. By the way, that is illegal. Then Donald Trump says, the polls are all fake. Don't trust the polls that say that my approval is at record lows and that independents support me at a 23% or 28% of independents now support Donald Trump, a 15-point drop since February alone. Just think about the instability and the chaos right now in the Oval Office. Here's what Donald Trump said about Virginia and New Jersey, just so you can see. It's in all caps, and he goes, Virginia and New Jersey, remember this, a vote for a Republican means substantially lower energy prices. A vote for a Democrat, especially these two losers who are running, means a doubling, tripling, and even quadrupling of your energy costs. Hey, con man, we know what just happened. Since you've been in office for about 10 months, we're aware that energy costs at home right now are skyrocketing. Inflation is surging. Jobless claims, the highest since the Great Recession if you don't factor in COVID, which, by the way, was under you as well. 950,000 jobs have been lost through the first 3 quarters, and it's probably more than that, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics is not publishing its data anymore because you want to cover up just how bad of a job you're doing. We have a contracting GDP. We have unemployment surging. We have what's called stagflation taking place. And just take a look at this approval 1 year from the midterm. Let's look at the very, very bottom. Who's there? Trump 2025 and Trump 2017. You're basically tied with yourself for the worst approval ever based on these CNN polls. The projections for tomorrow, Donald, not good. It could be a total wipeout for MAGA Republicans. Look at the Political HQ predictions, which takes an aggregate look at the various polls. In the Virginia governor's race, here's the way they see it. Abigail Spanberger, 55% against the MAGA Republican candidate Winsome Sears, 44%. The lieutenant governor race, Ghazala Hashmi, who we had on the Midas Touch Network, leading John Reed, 53 to 46%. And even the Virginia attorney general race, they have Jay Jones beating Jason Miyares, 51% to 49%. The Virginia House of Delegates, Democrats can take 60 seats, Republican 40 seats. Go to the New Jersey governor's race. Mikey Sherrill, 53% to Jack Ciattarelli, 46%. Pennsylvania Supreme Court, all 3 Democratic justices retained is the prediction. New York City mayoral race, 51% Mondami, 35% Cuomo. We'll see what happens there. California Prop 50, 61% yes, 38% no. Again, these are just
We have some big news right now. We have Donald Trump's first response to the major Democratic wins across the country, and he's seemingly crashing out on Truth Social in a way. Quote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the 2 reasons that Republicans lost election tonight, according to pollsters. That's the only thing he was able to get out, or the first thing he was able to get out in response to the major Democratic wins, literally everywhere, including his home city of New York City. And, well, he then followed up with a post talking about how his 60 Minutes interview was the highest rated 60 Minutes interview. That's all we got from Donald Trump. He's saying he wasn't on the ballot, and that's why Republicans across the country lost. But if you really look at each election, Donald Trump didn't actually campaign in many of these states. His agenda was deeply unpopular with the American people. If you look at exit polling, many people came out to vote against Donald Trump, against his agenda. And well, that's what happened. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
So folks, it is election day in America, the first major election day since Donald Trump got back into office and our national nightmare continued. But let me tell you, we don't even have the results in yet, and Donald Trump, Elon Musk, the MAGA billionaire donors are already freaking out. They're really pulling out any trick in the book to try to undermine these results or pretend they're not happening or attack these yet-to-be elected officials. It's just so crazy to watch their live meltdown happening right in front of our very eyes. So I want to show you what Donald Trump, Elon, and others are saying tonight about these elections. You're going to want to see it because of just how insane it is. But before I do any of that, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know what you think about this story. Let me know if you voted today, or if you didn't vote because you don't live in any of these places, let me know what you think about these elections. And without further ado, I just want to start here with a brief headline, which is in New York, the mayor's race has drawn the highest turnout since 2001. And that's just New York City. So you can already see why Trump, Musk, and others are freaking out. And if you look at Virginia, New Jersey, California, these states have these red areas that are seeing traditionally low turnout and these blue areas that are seeing exceptionally high turnout. So that fact in and of itself is kind of spelling danger and problems for Donald Trump and MAGA after he went hard to get his Republican candidates elected. doesn't seem like it's going to be a good night. And even just yesterday, Donald Trump, Musk, and everybody really tried to intervene in the New York City mayor's race. Elon Musk said, remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis, the Republican candidate, is really a vote for Mum Dummy. I mean, is this guy like 4 years old? Yes, he is. I think that's the actual answer. Or whatever his name is, vote Cuomo. And this exchange down here, I just thought was fascinating, saying, this is the Trump tracker on Twitter. This is the third sexual assaulter you have endorsed, which is not a lot, but weird. It has happened 3 times. And Musk said, do you have a better suggestion? They said, notice how he does not reject the idea of them being predators.
Breaking news, Donald Trump is spiraling on social media right now as election night is not going his way. He's begging Republicans to terminate the filibuster so they can pass, quote, voter reform. Here's what he said, quote, Republicans, terminate the filibuster, get back to passing legislation and voter reform. So by voter reform, Donald Trump is essentially looking at the results of Election Day 2025, seeing the way Republicans are just getting destroyed in every single race, and not just by slim margins. These are landslide victories. This is a mandate from the American people saying, we don't agree with Donald Trump's extremist policies in this country. And so what's voter reform to Donald Trump? Making it as hard as possible for people to vote, making it as rigged as possible for Republicans to cling on to power, because that's the only way they stand a chance in the midterm elections. By the way, polls are closing in California right now. I've got more videos coming on the way, and I'm live on YouTube right now, so come watch, search Josh the Progressive, or go to the link in my bio. This has been a crazy day, but a very good day for the American people.
This was Donald Trump's reaction to Democrats' decisive election victories tonight. He wrote on Truth Social, Trump wasn't on the ballot and Shutdown were the 2 reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. So the leader of the Republican Party is basically saying, hey, it's not my fault you guys shut down the government, which is basically giving Democrats more leverage heading into the shutdown negotiations, because Trump is admitting that Republicans are getting the blame. So not only did he throw the entire Republican Congress under the bus, he completely undercut their negotiation position. But tonight's elections results already did that, because Republican senators should have been working with Democrats weeks ago. All Democrats were asking for was to keep ACA subsidies and SNAP benefits in place. That's it. But now with these clear wins, Democrats don't need to meet Republicans halfway. If anything, they have leverage to ask for more.
So this defeat has really hit the GOP as a slap on the face. And it's so evident that the voters are tired. They are tired of lies. They are tired of excuses. They are tired of the chaos and everything that Trump has, everything that Trump has caused them to face. And so, the MAGA people have come out saying that maybe the elections were rigged. That's the excuse they are making. And Donald Trump, as I had said earlier, he's making an excuse saying that it's because of the government shutdown, and also it's because of him not being on the ballot. That's why they lost. And it's something, the government shutdown is something that he himself pushed. Can you imagine? And now he's blaming it. So it's such an irony. So guys, what do you guys think? Did Trump lose because he wasn't on the ballot, or it's just an excuse that he's trying to make because he's a man who does not accept defeat? I'd love to read your comments. Kindly don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on our next video.